we can stop this is to make sure that we admit more students, willing to study medicine, maybe lower the cut of mark or something.
No, you push science education at the secondary school level, and then you incentivize those people studying medicine. I don't know why you cannot, for instance, look at every medical student in this country and give them a token of maybe 500,000 yearly. So that one will amount to just about for their 6 years, that's like 3 million. Okay, 500,000 yearly, give to them to help them buy books, support them. Why can't you do that? That will make a lot of this. What is 3 million?
And to even encourage a lot of people to.
Yeah, and then step up science education. Then move people to incentivize those people studying science. I'm surely health-based courses. You might probably get some little respite. Then you have to wait for another 7 years for that to be fruitful, because it's not just a day training.
Indeed. I'm going to have to bring you in some other time to have full conversation as that. But let's talk about diabetes, Dr. Tui. And we're going to start from the basics so that the man listening to you right now can fully comprehend, our topic this morning. What it is about diabetes. When people say, they don't talk say I get diabetes. So what do they mean by that?
It's both a challenge with hormone and metabolic issues. Simply put, it's a problem with metabolism of sugar.
Breaking down of sugar in the body.
Yeah, breaking down of sugar in the body, or utilization of sugar, mobilization or utilization of sugar inside the body. And then what it either means that normally you need energy. You eat all your food, especially the carbohydrate is converted to energy. And then when it's reduced to basic glucose, then there's a system that has to push those sugar into your tissues to be utilized, to burn, and do so many work. So, but when you find out that even the sugar, something you want to put into your system is not entering there, as a result of either a deficiency in insulin, which actually helps to push sugar into your tissue, or a resistance of your tissue to accept that insulin, or a combination of both, then you now have challenges of accumulation of that sugar in your blood. As sugar accumulates in your blood, the body looks at that. We're having abnormal level of sugar in the blood. Let us push it out. You start passing urine frequently. Because it's a heavy osmolar thing. You have to pass urine. You become thirsty. So you see that you are passing urine frequently. You are thirsty. You are drinking more water. Because the sugar in your body is not being utilized, the next thing is that you get hungry. When you get hungry, the sugar is not utilized, you start losing weight. So you see the classical triad of excess urination, excess eating, and of course weight loss. And you say, okay, what is going on here? And then, and classically, if you use the kind of toilet where you can probably observe your urine, you see ants gathering around your urine because sugar is sweet. Everything wants to aggregate around sugar. So that is actually the simply put what we call diabetes. But interestingly, diabetes may not have those classical symptoms.
Because I was going to ask,
Indeed, some people actually, the first time they know that they have diabetes is when they're showing some complications. Okay, because we've taken a lot of thought away from health and all that.
Right.
When you see somebody saying that, you see, this my leg is witch that is chopping this wound in the village. Those kind of thing. There's an ulcer that is not healing. The wound is just there, getting necrotic. That may be one of the complications of diabetes, and that may be the first time diabetes is announcing itself in that person. Some people, it might just be their eyes that they cannot really see properly and see that kind of dizziness, something like they cannot, see properly. They say, okay, what's wrong with my eye? Should I go and put native medicine so that I can see clearly? It may actually be diabetes. Some, it may even be men with very, very viral and active on bed and find out that what's happening, I cannot perform properly on bed. It may actually be a sign of diabetes, So it can come in subtle form. Some, it might even be just first stroke, maybe the first signal that this person is diabetic. So we have to understand the variation, the different manifestation. And then when you look around the world now, in 1980 or so about, we had about 108 million people with diabetes. You know what we have?
What do we have now?
Close to about 400, from 108 for 422. And in the next few years, we're going to about 600. So we're seeing like 5% of the world population presently having diabetes.
5% of the world population.
Yes, having diabetes. You know, the world is 8 billion now. So we're seeing like close to 500,000.
Let me quickly,
half 500.
Yeah, you're correct, actually, because from what Zainab sent to me, Zainab is my research person. Zainab says 537 million adults are living with diabetes in 2021. That's 1 in 10 of every adult, 1 in 10. And this number is expected to rise to 643 million by 2030 and 783 million by 2045. Almost 1 in 2 adults with diabetes remain undiagnosed. That's where we're going to come to right now. But let's quickly talk about this number. Is it that there's nothing the world can do about it? That we are now projecting and projecting and projecting?
Yeah, we see. We first of all, there's a lot we can do, and this is one of the things we have.
Advocacy,
conversation,
right?
Education,
right?
Talking about it. And then if you look at it, there are key things. The demography is shifting from, we used to think that older people used to have diabetes, but diabetes can occur in anybody. But it is shifting to, even type 2 is becoming, we're seeing it at a younger age group now. That's the first demographic shift. The second demographic shift is that we used to think diabetes is a disease of affluent people staying somewhere in Japan countries. But right now, diabetes is, the new cases are more in developing and low-income countries. So again, you ask yourself, what the heck is driving?
What is causing this shift? Yeah.
Yes. Now, first and foremost, negative lifestyles, sedentary lifestyles, eating habits, absence of exercise, and then these are just the key drivers. So it takes a lot to. It doesn't take a special science to know that how you live your life, what you eat, smoking, drinking, obesity. As your weight is increasing, your risk
is getting higher.
Your risk is getting higher, and then you give challenge to the body to metabolize a lot of things. And then here we're on our seat. Like most of the time, by the time we're saying we're getting on our seat, we're not walking. We're hopping into a vehicle, sitting down somewhere, taking alcohol, eating a lot of...
We're jumping bikes everywhere. Nobody is trekking anymore.
Yes. You're taking a lot of alcohol, eating all sorts of food, which are not healthy at a late time in the day. What do you want the body to do with those kind of food? So it's going to accumulate it and then put pressure on a lot of organs in your body. And one of them is the metabolism of that thing you've taken. And
Dr. Tui, so the figures that I have here says more than 3 in 4 people with diabetes live in low and middle income countries, like you have said, which is right. There is that massive shift from the developed to low and middle income countries. 3 in 4 people. To me, that is very scary. More than 1.2 million children and adolescents 0 to 19 years live with type 1 diabetes. That's my next spot. That's my next conversation this morning. You mentioned it in passing about type 2 earlier. Younger people are coming down with diabetes. Do they even know? Like, are we even aware of this?
You see, sometimes we query nature, for me, why do I query nature? You can inherit virtually all sorts of diseases from your parents or your great-grandparents, but you won't inherit money. You get my point. You get my point. All sorts of things you can inherit. This disease, that disease.
But if you're poor, you're poor.
If you're poor, you do say that because your great-grandfather was one warrior that you had a lot of money, then the money should come back to you. Well, that's nature. We can't do anything about that. Well, that broadly, we categorize diabetes into about 3 or 4 categories. We have pre-diabetes. The pre-diabetes is like those people that the blood sugar is marginal. It's high, but we've not qualified to be called diabetes. Then we have the type 1 diabetes. These ones most likely run in the family. most likely damage to either the insulin producing organ, or and then they have to rely on insulin injection. And we're coming to that because that adds a lot of cost to the family. To manage diabetes, if you are going to use insulin, the cost of insulin is going up, and it's complicating management of diabetes at that level. So if you are talking about policy, you've read something out now, great. You find out that a policy expert will look at it that in this year we're going to have this number of diabetes. This is going to be our own share of it. This is how to respond to it. But for us, everything is like magical thinking. It's going to happen. Jesus is on the throne, inshallah, and all those kind of things. But so that's type 1 diabetes. The type 2 diabetes is actually the adult onset.
Okay.
The adult onset actually happens usually from the age of 35. The age is dropping now, and then you see all those classical symptoms, and most of the time
that's type 2.
That's diabetes type 2.
35 years, but it's dropping now.
The age is dropping. It's dropping, And then you have what we call it gestational diabetes, because pregnancy itself puts load on a lot of women, and their sugar metabolism may have challenges. Utilization of sugar may have challenges, and then during pregnancy, they may now have diabetes. But usually after delivery, it reverses.
Okay.
But be assured that somebody with pre-diabetes in the next 10 years will likely develop full diabetes if he or she does not follow through. Okay. So, and then if somebody with gestational diabetes, a lady with gestational diabetes may need also follow up to be sure that she doesn't then come out with full diabetes.
Right.
And then diabetes is is the leading causes of stroke, heart diseases, kidney failure, lower limb amputation, and blindness. So you see that now in Nigeria, a lot of people, kidney failure. Sometimes that's when diabetes announces itself. So the rising cases of kidney failure, blindness, lower limb amputation, stroke, CVA, lo and behold, can be linked to increase. In fact, I think diabetes is number 8. About number 8 killer diseases in the world. Number 8. So
and that's scary. You mentioned cost earlier, and that cost is something that we don't talk more about. I was speaking with a doctor friend, and he said that look, it's easier to manage diabetes before you start seeing symptoms. It's easier to follow up on your blood sugar level, religiously, than to wait for these things to get bad, because most of these consequences, they're irreversible. How true is that? Yeah, when the moment you start seeing all of these things, you can only manage. You can't reverse them back to their normal.
Indeed, diabetes itself, except now there are advances in terms of stem cells and a lot of things which they're actually thinking of possibility of reversing diabetes. Well, we're going to get there, but right now, management. You have to manage even the diabetes itself. You don't want complication to occur from head to toe. Complication, all sorts. You don't want complication to occur, because once complications occur, management becomes more difficult. Cost becomes more challenging, and then even because there's a limit to which family or even children can help you. Okay, they get also bogged down with their own
because the cost is much.
The cost is much, because if somebody needs to take insulin, or for instance, if a diabetic damage of the kidney occurs, and then you have to rely on dialysis, that's a lot of cost.
Yes,
if there's a diabetic foot, and you have to do amputation, that's a lot of cost. If there's a CVA or stroke from diabetes, that's a lot of cost. If blindness occur, from that, it's a lot of cost. So in reality, our safe limit is for us to know our history, is for us to also know how to manage. So, and then you look at it when you're saying diet.
That's my next question, Dr. Tui. Let's talk about how people can work on themselves through what they eat. What are those food that you would advise, especially for those who you may say are predisposed to it through genetic means, hereditary and all? What are those food that they need to?
Well, again, nature is very, I love to flow with nature. Nature tends to put into your environment the kind of food that really, really be good for you.
Yeah.
So, and then the second thing is that lagom, there's a principle called lagom in Sweden, just enough. The principle of lagom, just enough. Now, when you see some people pack their plates with all sorts of food, I wonder which stomach are you going to put it? How are you going to burn this food? Okay, lagon means that you eat just to fill you, give you energy, and you keep going. If you need to eat just that tiny food, look away from excess eating. That's the first thing.
Excess eating.
Yes. Then secondly, there timing to your food. Okay, because the body also needs to rest in a way, needs to digest the food. You don't then get in the night and start consuming heavy food. Okay, we tend to move towards a lot of fruits and vegetables to help you, because you must know your history. Fruits and vegetables to help you, and then a lot of junk food being prepared, being advertised, being pushed by social marketing. Hey, this food. I think in reality, if I were to be government, I'll be tasking them. I will tax. I will put tax on some type of food.
Should we go there now?
And I will now funnel that tax to support health.
Because I was still going to come to you on fizzy drinks. What do they call it? All these sugar drinks, sweet drinks, and all. Whether there should be specific government policies that should target them, just like what you're saying.
Indeed, you see that quite a lot of those fast food, even abroad, they're trying to shift to more healthy diets. Okay, the healthy diets are just available for you. Take your food, prepare them fresh, eat. When I was growing up, it was a taboo for us to eat a soup that lasted the second day. We just bring your fish. I'm fisherman. We just bring your fish, you cook it and you eat and you go away. If you need to prepare another one next day, you do that. So in reality, some of those taboos that are incorporated into our diet and lifestyles were actually to save us from some health consequences. But right now, what we do is that we look for food. Even some of those food, when you buy them, they will tell you consume it before 2 hours.
Please pardon me. Let's go off. Let's take this break. When we return from this break, we'll take some reactions. Stay here, Lagos.
Only one station gives you great talk every day.
On the show yesterday, you spoke about the tariff hike, electricity tariff hike.
Yes.
I'm hearing news today that it's being postponed till next year.
City of Lagos, did I say it yesterday? I am a prophet.
Hear the news and tell us your views.
Congratulations once again to Liverpool. Despite the disastrous outing they had tonight.
Your number one station for talk.
WHO give a guideline for organizations, yes, to implement, reduce the spread of coronavirus in your group, in your companies. Here in N Group, we've done
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
The World Cup is a global phenomenon.
Thank you, Lagos, for tuning in. It's 8:38. We're going to dedicate the second part of the show to getting your thoughts and your questions. Dr. Tuyi Mebawandu is here in the studio with me. He's a consultant general physician, and he joins me live in the studio. And we've been talking diabetes. We would have this conversation again. I've been able to secure Dr. Tuyi's permission to do that. We'll have it again next Thursday because I fear we may not be able to get through all the messages that I've dropped already. Dr. Tuyi, let me start with this message here that says, I'll come to the telephone in a moment, all right? This person says, can a child of a year or two old have diabetes?
Of course. That's early onset diabetes and insulin dependent. Because let's face it, this is the principle. Now, we know that diabetes is a problem with sugar metabolism. We know that there's an insulin that produces that helps this sugar metabolism, and there's a pancreas that has to produce insulin. So all births are not actually perfect. Let's get it. There could be mistakes either in the formation of the pancreas, or even some infection that can then go straight. Like some of the viruses can go straight and knock off the beta cells, and then lo and behold, there's diabetes. The person will not have to rely on insulin for the rest of his life.
Oh, okay. Telephone lines 01 277 0993, 01 277 2993, 01 277 3993. Female only line is 01 465 7190. WhatsApp is 0809 597 5805. That's WhatsApp. Good morning to you.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. I have a question and a contribution.
Yes, please.
One, I want to know if you eat carbohydrates in the morning, can it make one to develop diabetes? Like some people say, oh, because you ate in the morning, so because of that, it's heavy eating, or you might, cause you health challenges. Then the other one is this. Doctor is talking about this. I know food. The reason why this issue, why we have lots of diabetic people in this part of the world now, is because of the kind of food that we're eating. Now, our food now has changed because the cost of food is expensive. So what people do is they all this fizzy drink, they just take it, put gas in their tummy, they eat bread just to hold their tummy. Do you understand? So food is very expensive. So the government should come down to making food cheaper. If you still want to take a vegetable, a wrap of ugu is 100 naira. In fact, for you, only you can just finish it. Having a family, you know how much you will buy. So this is expensive. You can't buy apple, you can't buy pineapple, they're all expensive. Unlike before, at least you can see them. Some might be cheap, and you can see pineapple during its season. Orange season now, but it's very expensive. So there are the issues why Nigerians just take anything they see just to put food in their tummy. So that's my own, what I observe and know why this is, what are coming down with this diabetes. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Joy. Dr. T, the food problem again, about how, she was saying that maybe, what's causing the numbers to go up is because of the poverty level in the country.
No doubt. Like one of my lecturers those days in Ife used to say, everything is common among the poor people. Diabetes is common among the poor people. Violence is common. Everything is common among the poor people. Well, the thing is this, you can always escape poverty. And let me just, before I answer the question, let me just oppose it with the recent Nigerian Bureau of Statistics findings that says that showed the multi-dimensional poverty in Nigeria. 133 million people, 133 million people.
That's right.
Multi-dimensional poverty.
Yeah, half of the entire country.
And then more than half. Because now you see deprivation is a poverty. Lack of access is a poverty. So you must be able to define. It's not just money issue. And that's why we have to take into that conclusion. Deprivation, you don't have access to good food, good water. You cannot access. Those are poverty. Those are real. And when you look at it in that way, most Nigerians are poor anyway. But the challenging one is the multidimensional one. 133 million people. And then food components is very, very significant in this poverty. Not just about diabetes. Is not just about food alone. Diet is there. Lifestyle, sedentary lifestyle is there. Family history is there. Okay, and then you have to go across this spectrum, if you really want to deal with diabetes, what is your risk? Is your weight increasing? You have to find a way to deal with it. It gladdens my heart that, in some parts of Lagos, you ban, what's it called, Okada,
Right.
That means that you have to walk.
That's right.
Yes, I mean, that.
And there's some health benefits. In
a
that.
lot. Not some, a lot. There's nothing that exercise doesn't help.
Oh.
There's nothing.
Oh.
And what we need to rethink is that even the workspace, we have to rethink it. For instance, Nigeria Info, a small room where you can go and run some treadmill at certain time, maybe for some few minutes before you come back to work, because you are sitting for a long time. You must be able to incorporate that kind of thing into workplace now. So it's not just food. Food is key, but it's not that if you take carbohydrate in the morning, carbohydrates every morning that you have diabetes. No, it's not that simple.
Right.
If you are feeding, once you feed moderately, just enough, okay, and then you add all these factors to it. You do exercise, you control your lifestyles, and you do your screening and checks. I'm sure you'll be able to manage.
Let me take Madam Ife's call. She's on the line. Madam Ife, good morning. Oh, she's gone. Let's take another one quickly. Good morning.
Madam Ife is here.
Good morning. Welcome, ma'am.
I'm here.
Good to have you.
Good morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Doctor, good morning.
Good morning, Madam Ife. You're a regular.
Yeah.
Myself, I got that thing. No.
Don't worry, you are good. You sound happy.
I'm always happy anyway.
Yeah, nice.
I don't let anything to bug me down.
Nice.
I want to ask, I've been nursing my own for 10 years now. I'm 65.
Wow. Great.
Is it this thing that is causing all this bone pain here, pain there, joint, lumbar, this?
or it's just age, Abby?
Yes, because post-menopause, after menopause.
I'm telling you, after this Madam Ife used to be very agile. I just noticed all kinds of nonsense coming out from my body.
I can imagine.
Yes, and though I'm managing it, if you see me, you won't think you won't know I have it, but it's money.
It's
money.
Even for some of us at the level of deep science question, we've asked, why should menopause occur? What purpose is menopause serving? Because we've seen even among some mammals that don't even go menopausal. So why should we withdraw the hormones? All sort of things start happening. Do you know, Sheriff, why should we have menopause?
So again, you are kind of clairvoyant, because I have someone that's coming in 3 weeks' time to come and discuss menopause, and maybe I'll have you, come on that as well, because you're sounding, something you are really interested in, right?
Honestly, menopause is apart from the fact that menopause helps to control family planning amongst women. What is it serving? What purpose is it serving? I don't know. So we can as well use some other means of controlling menopause and allow the woman to
live their life.
So that the hormones can be balanced.
Yeah.
Madam Ife, I think menopause age contributes to all your pains and all those things. Keep walking,
right.
Keep living healthy, eat well, and then be happy. I'm sure you'll be able to manage. At least all of us have been sentenced to death.
Yeah.
So
whether we like it or not.
We just want to expand our stay on
whether
this,
we like it. Yeah, exactly.
on this part of the world.
Julius Kayode on WhatsApp says, whenever they are saying we should go for tests, we do not put into cognizance the cost of the hospital bill. The level of poverty these days is so much to the extent that many prefer to die of their diseases. Here we go again.
Now, again, yes, I think in reality, some of the things in our health system that appear so difficult are actually easy. You have all these primary health care centers all over the places, okay? Everywhere. Some are even creating more. Now, what is so difficult in a world that Google knows everybody's address and everybody's street? In a world like that, in a world where even if I put Sheriff, your profile will, in a world,
it will pop up.
Why is it so difficult that our government, the system, cannot link everybody to at least to one primary healthcare center? Just link everybody to one. So what that means is that the primary healthcare center is compelled to work. They now have to actually look over some set of people. What is so difficult that the state government, for instance, cannot engage some private hospital and say that on this street, in this area, help me screen people with diabetes, we're going to give you 10 naira once you present this data. Why do you always appear as if solving problem we have to?
You have to go to the mountain and fast and pray for 41 days.
Thinking gap. The greatest poverty is thinking poverty of thought. So what's so difficult? You have a lot of private hospitals in this place. Yes. You just ask them, do you want to do primary health work for me? In this place, I don't want to see people with hypertension. Can you bring them in and check? And then you bring your data. We support you. Okay? Employ this, employ that. Primary health care center. Every person existing in this state must be linked to a primary health care center that can actually follow up on his history, and then they can complete to log on to him.
Because I know that this is what is obtainable elsewhere. In fact, it's the hospital that will call you.
Indeed, when you are due for your checkup.
Exactly.
Sheriff,
they will
you are
call you.
Year old now, you come and do your PSA. That is the way it should be. What is difficult in that? But again, we want to appear that everything is. Anyway, we have prayer warriors to help us. We have prayer warriors. So in reality, I can feel the guy's complaint. Kayode, who was talking about cost. I can feel his complaint because in reality, even me, I'm afraid to fall sick. Because you see, even a small illness, a complication from diabetes, like renal complication leading to dialysis, will revert an average family to poverty.
Yeah. I always say that you're just one sickness away from being poor.
Yes, real poverty. And then that one can disrupt the whole family structure. A girl child that's in attending school can stop attending school because of that. Because there's no social support, no social cushion to ensure that this girl must not stop school. So I'm afraid, I understand. But again, these are the things government should take away. The fear that if I force it, what will happen to me should actually, help should be taken for granted. Education should be taken for granted. Okay, that no matter what, no matter my situation, you are going to get covered. Health, and I'm going to get education.
You shouldn't be bothered about those things.
And now the critical input into the health system, which is actually the health workforce,
they're disappearing.
They're not just there again. They're not just there again.
Let me take this one here from Emmanuel, who says, please can that, I'll come to the telephone. Oh, let's go to the telephone. We'll take one, then we'll come to Emmanuel's message. Morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Doctor.
Morning. Good morning,
Emmanuel.
And good morning, Sheriff.
Morning to you.
This is Agwuma calling from Bagada.
You're welcome.
We hear some people complaining about the cost of food and all these nutritional values. I want to advise us to let's forget about Apple. Apple is costly because of importation, exchange rate, and all whatnot, because they are not. Most of them are not cultivated
local.
Here.
Thank you, Aguma.
In place of such things, we have garden egg. Look out for all those fruit, vegetables
all right.
that are available.
Thank you for your thought. I appreciate it. We must go now. Dr. T, we have to return next week because we need to discuss some more, on that. There are so many areas that we've not even touched because we spoke briefly about food. I would like for us to even talk about those that are on management right now.
Exactly.
It's very, very important we touch that. So please pardon us. We'll be back next week, Thursday. Dr. T, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you, Sheriff. Always my pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Lagos, that's our show this morning. It's been quite enlightening and educative as well. But we'll be back on Thursday next week on Health Thursday. Dr. T. Mebanwadu will be here and we'll discuss some more, especially those that are on management. We'll discuss their case a whole lot more next week. I'm Sheriff Quadri. Many thanks to Zainab who did all the work. I'll see you on Monday at 5. Bye for now.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.